Welcome to GOAT Golf Holes. Absolute pleasure to welcome the CEO of the esteemed Royal Johannesburg and Kensington, Christopher Bentley. Welcome, Christopher.
Hey, Sean, thanks for having me. Yeah, very humbled. Thanks for the invite.
No, it's absolute pleasure, and really we're thrilled to have you on board here. So, as I said, you're the CEO of the esteemed Royal Johannesburg and Kensington. Tell us a little bit about your path, how you ended up there. I mean, where did it all start for you, and how did you get into golf professional?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like a bit of an old guy, but I'm still a youngster, and I'm still learning and on this exciting journey in the golf industry. But yeah, I started out at Benoni Country Club as an apprentice there, and I did my PGA under Brian Pritt. And in 2008, moved over to Serengeti Golf Club, which was that was quite a learning experience, you know, pre and post opening, and got to meet Jack Nicklaus and spend some time around the architecture of Serengeti, and just learned so much. And I learned from some good guys there, Dietrich Ace and Bernard Mostert, Ryan Reed. Very privileged to get that opportunity. And then in 2013, I was approached to come over to Royal, and yeah, 9 years later, I'm still here and having fun and, you know, creating memories.
Fantastic. What a journey. And just the people you work with, the learning experience, it's amazing. And can I say that the work you're doing at Royal is absolutely superb. So well done.
No, thank you. It's all a team effort, eh?
100%. Can't agree more. Chris, part of the signature series we do and your golf course, it's a fascinating design. So I'm thrilled to talk to you about the holes going forward. But one of the projects we do, and we've aligned your signature course with a charity. So just to explain to the viewers that we're just really trying to create as much awareness for this fantastic project, and viewers can understand that if they watch your video and share their video, the more views we have a potential or opportunity to perhaps raise some funds for this incredible project. So you've aligned your signature course with an unbelievable charity called Cupcakes of Hope. When you told me about it and the research I've done, it's taken hold of me. I was unfortunate to lose my dad at the beginning of the year to cancer. So to see young kids suffer with this ailment is it's travesty. So can you tell us a little bit about Cupcakes of Hope?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been involved with Cupcakes from about 2017. I was introduced to the organization by Brandon Stone. And I'd been looking to align myself with a really good charity, but I wanted to know that it really made a difference. It wasn't just fundraising, and I wanted to know the cause, and I wanted to really get involved. And when Brandon introduced me to Sandy at Cupcakes, and I heard her story and what they do for kids with cancer, it's just absolutely remarkable. And the difference they make, not just to kids, but how they take care of the families, and the direct impact it's just incredible. And she's the most incredible woman. Her and her team, they really are an inspiration to this world. So yeah, I'm proud to be an ambassador for them.
No, you should be, and it's fantastic. I mean, I've just had a couple of words with Sandy. I've got a little project that I'm hoping to tie in with it. And she told me a dreadful story. A young kid has lost her sight from cancer, and the kid's doing so well at school, but they need to try raise some funds for an electronic braille reader. So, I mean, and that falls out of the medical need, but so hopefully we maybe can help contribute to that little project.
Amazing, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to go on to the PGA South Africa. I just want to let the audience know that 2018, 2019, 2021, 2022, you were the PGA Central Gauteng Regional winner of the Regional Manager Award. And in 2021, you won the National PGA Pro of the Year throughout South Africa. My first question to you, and it's a little bit lighthearted, what happened in 2020?
I took a year off. But yeah, I mean, you know, I always say, you know, I'm so blessed to be a PGA member and to represent the PGA. And I can honestly say with all my heart, you know, the team around me, they make me look far better than what I am. You know, I dedicate these awards to specifically the team at Royal, and I collect these things on their behalf. But what it has done is it's allowed me the platform to really help others, from a growing the game perspective, from a charity perspective, from an educational perspective. It's given me the platform to really, kind of assist guys in the industry. And but it's, no success happens by yourself, in my opinion. It's all the people that you surround yourself with, and that's what I do every day at Royal. I give everybody the tools they need and the guidance and support, and I let them get on with the job. And it's just all a team, and I can't say enough about that.
That's amazing. I mean, obviously you're a strong leader, so you get to have a team around you like that. It's fantastic. And I really value the work at the PGA. Sometimes it actually goes unnoticed, doesn't it? I mean, it's a foundation that really supports golf from the grassroots up. It's amazing. I appreciate the work you guys do.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sean.
Pleasure, man. Chris, on to the, well, not just less exciting, but what we're all here about, your signature course. Again, it's just every time I talk to people like you, and the courses you design are just, it just whets the appetite. I mean, I want to just put my clubs on my back and off I go, So I'm going to just ask you, talk you through a couple of the holes. The first one I'm going to start with is Wentworth West, the second hole there, the par 3 in London. I've actually been there, so I know the hole exactly. I've not played it, but I think I watched the PGA there. Just talk us through that hole. I mean, it's also one of those places that just got a bit of aura, hasn't it?
It does. I mean, it's I'm a traditional Parkland type of guy, and I must tell you, I found this challenge a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought, perfect. I'll just first choice was 18 holes on East, and I thought, well, I can't do that. And then when I started going through the process, I found it a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be. But at the same time, it was really fun. And yeah, like you say, Wentworth it's a special place. I like the West Course. I like what Ernie did to the design. And I think that par 3 for me, it just sits so nicely. I think that whole complex, the design, and then obviously the way they condition that course is just, it's next level. I've been to Wentworth a couple of times, home of the European Tour. They got some amazing events there, the BMW, etc. And so when I got to hole 2 in my signature course, I thought, this par 3, it stands out in my memory, and just a brilliant hole.
Fantastic. I can't agree more. I'm going to jump on now, and I'm glad you actually mentioned your work at Serengeti, and obviously having met Mr. Nicholas. Your fifth hole in your signature course is the 5th at Pearl Valley. Tell us a little bit about Pearl Valley. I totally agree with you. It's an incredible layout. And do you kind of appreciate Mr. Nicholas' designs? Because he's got a very specific design type, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I spent some time with Nicholas in his shadow when he was doing Serengeti. And I think his work kind of up to Serengeti was his best work, if I can put it that way. The large bunkers and lots of subliminal elements to his design, little creeks flowing past, and I really like the way he went about it. I think his work from an architectural perspective, went a bit crazy after Serengeti, but Pearl Valley specifically for me, I don't know what it is, but it's got that super estate aura, right? And it's just that whole setting and the work that Damien Wrigley and the guys do there. I think before you even get onto that golf course, you just know this is going to be cool. And that hole specifically, you kind of feel like you've got a lot of space to play, but it's a lot tougher than you think, And I just think Pearl Valley is, it's obviously highly regarded in South Africa, but it is an absolutely world-class estate. And I think with the acquisition with Val de Vie, it's taken it to an even better level. And I think that it ranks within the top estates in the world.
Without a doubt. I mean, I've had the privilege of having a couple of rounds there. And as you say, it's on a different level, isn't it?
It really is.
I just want to read you a statement. So I'm going on to this, I'll probably say is our hidden gem, because this just blew me away. Your statement, and I just really want to thank you. I mean, the detail you went into designing your course and the little captions you put in there. It's like you just narrated a little story for me, and I went on this incredible journey. So you've called this, and what stood out to me, one of our other GOAT signature designers, Kevin Murray, the esteemed photographer, rated, he had included Pine Valley. So, but you said Pine Valley on steroids, and you're talking of Tabacco Roads. I mean, that's a statement of note. So, I mean, what blows you away with Tabacco Road?
Well, Tabacco Road is actually a golf course on my bucket list. And I've been a big follower of a architect called Mike Strantz. And Mike Strantz was this kind of radical golf course architect. And when I heard about Tabacco Road, I started studying it. And it's this incredible design which has all these natural elements. And from my studies of Tabacco Road, it just ticks all the boxes from golf experience, history, tradition. There's nothing artificial there. And yeah, it's Mike Strantz comes from that golden age of architects, if I can put it that way. And it's just always been a golf club that I can't wait to get to. It's kind of top 3 on my bucket list. And then there was a quote that came out a couple of years ago which said, "This is Pine Valley on steroids." And that just made me even more excited. And so I can't wait to get there one day soon.
Well, I wish you well. I'll join you on that trip.
Yeah, maybe we can go together.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm going to move on to the very next hole. And there was just, I've got Kevin Murray he's actually shot Moortown. There's just something about captivating par 3s, aren't there? I mean, they just tell us about
There
Moortown.
really is. There really is. I mean, Moortown, all my family live in Leeds. So it's in my blood, and Centre of the Universe, Ellen Road, you name it. And
no, don't start.
And so, I think the biggest thing that people forget about Moortown is that it hosted the first Ryder Cup in 1929 on British soil. And so that's what it was famous for, other than being this incredible Alistair Mackenzie design. And down the road from Moortown is Woodley. And Woodley was actually Alistair Mackenzie's first design.
Oh.
And so, it's got this kind of linksy feel to it. But, if you're a purist golfer that enjoys links with a bit of parkland, it's just absolutely incredible. That layout and the kind of shaping of that hole it just sits so nicely. And if anybody ever gets the chance to go out to either Moortown or Old Woodley, they're both worth it. Absolutely.
Well, that's my bucket list is growing. I'm going to move on to the next hole, and we'll do a complete short around this one. You say you're biased, but I don't believe you, because I've asked 2 esteemed PGA professionals in South Africa, Derek James, Jeff Claus. I mean, these guys are icon in South African golfing circles, and they designed their signature courses, and both of them put the 11th at Royal Johannesburg East Course. So there must be something. I've not played the hole, but there must be something special about the 11th at Royal Johannesburg in Kensington.
There really is. I obviously get to play the golf course, quite often. But every time I stand up on that 11th tee, it's so deceptive. It is so good on the eye. From the drive, you got to get it in the right place, center fairway or right fairway. If you don't, and you end up on the left-hand side of the fairway, you often think, "Oh, I'm okay," but then you really leave yourself a tough shot into the green. So you got to be accurate off the tee. And then the approach shot in is obviously over our little waterway creek, and that green complex is it's perfect. I mean, you wouldn't change anything about it, And, going back to 2010, 10 and 11 at Royal were the back-to-back longest par 4s in the world. And that's obviously changed, because of technology and new course design and things like that. But it's still, to play 10 and 11 at Royal, it will always be special. It'll always be tough. It can change your game so quickly. But you always, if you make a par on 11 and you walk off that green, you go, "Oh, what a hole," every time. If you make double bogey, you go, "What a hole," every time. It's not about what you have this feeling that you're almost walking in the footsteps of champions when you walk down 11, and there really is something special about it.
Amazing. Just briefly, so I mean, are you typically needing to drive off the tee, and then what kind of a mid to long run in?
Yeah, so your longer hit, if you're playing off the blue tees off the back, I always hit a 3-wood off the 11th. I don't mind leaving myself a longer iron in. But typically, your club golf will hit a driver and have a long iron into the green, or some kind of 5-wood, something like that.
Okay.
The way I play the hole is a 3-wood, right-hand side of the fairway. You can miss it a little bit right. It's a little bit more forgiving, and then have about an 8-iron into that green. And for me, center green 2-putt, take it and leave quickly.
Happy days. Yeah.
You get in trouble on that hole, I promise you.
I can imagine. Just staying on, well, not only the 11, again, if I done my research correctly, you were involved in the redesign at Royal in 2018.
Yeah, so we upgraded the course in 2017, the East course. And the whole philosophy was that we didn't want to change anything architecturally, but we wanted to make it far more relevant for modern play, far more enjoyable for the club golfer. And a lot of restorations these days are dedicated by technology, right?
Okay.
And so what we found in 2017 with the East course was all the bunkers were all of a sudden in play for the club golfers, because all the better golfers were hitting it far longer. And so they were just flying over everything. So from an architectural point of view, we didn't want to mess with the design at all, but we wanted to make sure that we repositioned the bunkers into play for the better golfers and made it more enjoyable for the club golfers. And from a bunker perspective, we really wanted to see those bunkers. We wanted them to face you. I think that it's a key thing in a good Parklands design, where you can see your hazards. And then obviously to make them walk-in bunkers and better for maintenance. Being a club manager for me, it's not just about the golf, but it's also about the sustainability and how you're going to be able to maintain those bunkers going forward from a cost perspective, from a machinery perspective. And I think we managed to do that reasonably well.
That's excellent. I'm moving on to actually 2 holes now, and I'm quite intrigued to understand if you obviously played these both. So it's 2 holes in New Zealand, the 15th at Cape Kidnappers and the 17th at Quarry Cliffs. And you in your little caption on those holes, you say that you don't think there's too many visually stunning golf holes in the world. I mean, I've not been there, but the pictures I've seen, it just looks like almost mythical or magical, somewhere in a different world. Tell us about your trip to New Zealand. Was that specifically to play those courses, or was it a family-related trip?
So of the 18 holes that I've designed here, those are 2 that are on my bucket list. So I haven't been there yet, but I am definitely making a plan to go. Like you say, the photography of those cliffs and the settings and the stories that we've been told about Quarry Cliffs, about Cape Kidnappers, it just sounds like the perfect golf tour. In the US, they say the ultimate golf tour is Bandon Dunes. And in New Zealand, they say you've got to go to Cape Kidnappers and Quarry Cliffs. And so if you look at some of those photographs taken, they just look perfect. It looks like heaven. The only negative that I can find is that it rains a lot in New Zealand, and they don't braai as well as us. But I'll definitely be making a trip over there. I can't wait to get to those golf courses.
Well, I think so. So we're doing the States first, maybe, and then we'll do the New Zealand trip. Maybe do Cape Kidnappers on the Friday. We'll watch the box on the Saturday, have a braai with the boys, and then we'll play Quarry on Sunday.
Sounds like a plan to me. I'm in.
Okay,
I think Jeff
awesome.
will be in too. I can tell you that.
Okay, I'll let him know. So your final hole, and this is, I mean, it ties in with just the aura of golf. So this, I understand that the Golf National in just outside Paris in France was specifically designed for the Ryder Cup in mind. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, when you walk into Le Golf National, it's actually got a lot of Jack Nicklaus traits to it. You got stadium kind of mounding around every hole. So, for spectators, the viewing is just unbelievable. You can be 20 back and you can see everything. So, for a tournament, it's almost perfect, And I was blessed to be able to go over there for the Ryder Cup in 2018. Myself and Jeff were together on that trip, funnily enough. And we just had an absolute blast. And when you said to me, what would your 18th hole be? I immediately went back to Le Golf National, myself and Jeff standing at the back of the 18th green, watching the Europeans lift that trophy. It was a very special moment.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the best Ryder Cups. I mean, obviously a little biased because I'm a European supporter, but just everything, as you say, about that event, the quality of the golf. I've had people that went. I've spoken to you now about it. The atmosphere was just second to none. I mean, it's just to see that at a golf event was just absolutely spectacular.
And I'll tell you, the most, call it memorable part for me was when you go to the Masters at Augusta. You walk through those gates at Augusta, and it's heaven on earth. It's an incredible experience. But outside of the golf club, there's not much. Whereas in Paris, we were at this incredible golf course. We were cheering and singing, and it was an incredible atmosphere, incredible event. But then at night, it continued under the Eiffel Tower. And so it was 3-4 days of complete 24-hour fun, and when you're with Jeff Claus, you must know there's no time to sleep. So I think for me, in terms of a tournament and a setting and a place, and it just ticked every single box, and those memories will sit with me for a very long time.
Sounds absolutely amazing. Chris, I'm going to talk, I mean, I suppose it's in the press and it's contentious, and I think the Ryder Cup is really a special golf event, right? Because I mean, you don't often have much team sport. Team, I'm saying typically individual championships. There's a lot of talk now that with a lot of players potentially moving across to the LIV Tour and potentially then losing their opportunity to play in the Ryder Cup teams. Certainly, Zach Johnson has announced that if you're not playing on the USPGA, you're not going to be eligible for the American team. What is your take on that? Do you think people going to LIV, and are they going to be? Is it going to diminish the quality of the Ryder Cup? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's so controversial at the moment, isn't it? I think, let me start by saying I wish Henrik Stenson had served as captain and then moved over to LIV. That was quite disappointing. But I think holistically, I wish the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and LIV could have got around a table and spoken, because a couple of years ago, the DP World Tour made it pretty clear that it was great to have the Saudis involved with golf, and they were going to contribute a hell of a lot to the growth of the sport. So they used to be friends, if I can put it that way, reading between the lines in the media. And they've sponsored a lot of money over the years with the PGA Tour. So that collaboration and that input, if it was collective, I mean, imagine what it could do. So in my opinion, I think LIV is going to be a huge success. I don't think they're going anywhere. From what I've heard, they're now looking to go into women's golf, and they're getting their criteria sorted out. But I think the determining factor with LIV Golf is going to be the official world golf ranking. And what's interesting there is that Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, he sits on the board there. So that's probably going to end up in court, unfortunately. But I think they do have a place. They do have a model. I think it is going to move forward. I personally hope that they kind of, between the three tours, they end up sorting out some kind of collaboration. And we hope to God that it doesn't take away from the Ryder Cup itself and the that kind of participation there and eligibility. The Ryder Cup is the ultimate team event in golf. And if you said to me, would you rather go to the Open or to the Masters or to the Ryder Cup? If I was going with some friends, it would be the Ryder Cup because it's the best jewel ever. So let's hope, for the sake of golf and specifically the Ryder Cup, that some kind of middle ground is found very quickly.
I can't agree more with you. I think that just the reality is that, you know, the financial backing that LIV have, they are not going anywhere. That's just the reality. I've always said, and I've written brief little articles to my small little following, but I totally agree with you. They really needed to sit down and come. Could you imagine LIV being the equivalent of the Champions League in football? That you need to play in the PGA and you need to play in the DP World to qualify, similar to you do in the English Premiership. That's basically the main goal of the teams playing in the Premiership. The first goal is to qualify for Europe. Now, if you had guys focused on the PGA Tour, knowing that they need to get into the top 40, 50, whatever the number is, on the tour that year, I mean, it just elevates the whole qualification process. And then so your ranking applies, and then you go and you've made the Champions League, so you play the 8 LIV events. I mean, I think that, to me, that's only my humble opinion, would be unbelievable for golf. But yeah,
I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. And the more opportunities, the professional golfers get, the more opportunities there are for sponsors, and even to give back to the growth and to the game of golf itself. The amount of charities and communities that benefit from the tours is unbelievable. And I just hope that they can find a way to collaborate, get around a table, and make it happen. Because who wants this kind of controversy? In the game of golf, it's ultimately it's a gentleman's game, and they need to get around the table and have a chat.
Totally agreed. Just one final question, Chris. If I had to put you on the spot, who would you call your GOAT, the greatest of all time golfer?
Sure, that's a tough one, because I like various guys for different reasons, and probably a bad pick. But one of the guys who I've enjoyed spending the most time with was actually Henrik Stenson at Serengeti. He won the SA Open there, and I spent a bit of time with him. And he's always been one of my favorite golfers. He's an absolutely great guy, very kind and generous. So Henrik Stenson's always been one of my favorite golfers. But since I was a kid, Adam Scott has been the guy that I've tried to replicate when I play golf. And so he's also stood the test of time, I think. He's not going anywhere. He's still competing. I mean, even at the Open, I think he finished top 10 this year. So, Adam Scott's right up there for me as one of my favorite of all time.
Lovely choice. And also, I mean, he's had his challenges in his game, and certainly he's putting, and to have the character and willpower to go through that and still play at that level is just, incredible.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Chris, I'm going to almost sign off now. Just a couple of thanks, if you will indulge me. I just want to thank the viewers first and foremost. Simply by viewing, you're showing support for Cupcakes of Hope. So I encourage you guys. I'm sure you're going to thoroughly enjoy Chris's course. It's amazing. Some of the holes he's listed there are just off the charts. So if you've enjoyed the video, please share it, because we're just sharing the awareness of Cupcakes of Hope. And also, just please consider subscribing to GOAT Golf Holes on YouTube for future signature courses. And then I want to just a special thanks to Kevin Murray and Patrick Koenig in the States for supplying some incredible footage of some of the holes. And then most importantly, Chris, I really thank you. It's been wonderful talking to you. Your course is amazing. And let's create this awareness for Cupcakes of Hope. And I look forward to joining you in the States and New Zealand.
What a pleasure. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for having me, and hope everybody enjoys my course.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. Have a lovely day, mate.